Chairman Jimenez, Ranking Member Carter, and members of the subcommittee, thank you for the opportunity to be here today to discuss GAO's work examining Coast Guard maritime security operations. These operations may be carried out by specialized forces units, which have the training and capabilities needed to handle drug interdiction, terrorism, and other threats. My testimony today focuses on persistent challenges Coast Guard faces in carrying out missions, including those involving specialized forces units, and actions that GAO's work has identified to help Coast Guard address them. We've made dozens of recommendations to the Coast Guard to help address key challenges like staffing shortfalls, declining availability of vessels and aircraft, and acquisition issues. Regarding Coast Guard staffing shortfalls, in recent years, the Coast Guard has raised concerns that its mission workload has outpaced its workforce levels. Staffing gaps, particularly in specialized units like tactical law enforcement teams, can hinder drug interdiction efforts, counterterrorism operations, and missions. While the service recruited more enlisted service members than it lost in 2024, that had not been the case in years prior. In April 2025, we reported that even with the increase in recruiting, the service remained short of its enlisted workforce target. As a result, the Coast Guard was operating below the workforce level it deemed necessary. We made 3 recommendations to help address these challenges, including that the Coast Guard develop a clear plan to support its retention initiatives. Specific to specialized forces, in 2019, we reported that the Coast Guard has taken steps to create a maritime law enforcement career path, which helped them retain qualified personnel. We also reported that the Coast Guard might not have the right mix and number of specialized forces to meet mission demands. For example, we reported that officials from some specialized forces units were underused, while others were so busy that they had to turn down operations. In November 2024, the Coast Guard acknowledged that significant overlap in mission and mission capabilities related to specialized forces exist. Continued analysis remains important as the Coast Guard moves to establish a deployable Specialized Forces Command as part of Force Design 2028. Another challenge I'd like to highlight is vessel and aircraft availability, assets that specialized forces are often deployed from. The condition of Coast Guard assets has been in a state of decline for decades. Our work has shown a concerning trend that the cost of maintaining these assets is increasing at the same time that their availability is decreasing. For example, in June, we reported that operation availability of cutters that the Coast Guard relies on for its maritime security operations declined. We also reported that increasing maintenance challenges have led to cutters missing patrol obligations. These readiness challenges are not limited to cutters. In a separate report, we found that Coast Guard aircraft were not available for missions as often as the service deemed necessary. We made 10 recommendations in these reports to address cutter and aircraft challenges. Finally, our work has noted that acquisition program delays have been a long-standing challenge for the service and continue to affect the availability of Coast Guard assets. For example, the Coast Guard's newest cutters, the Offshore Patrol Cutter and the Polar Security Cutter, are intended to support maritime security operations. But we found that combined, these 2 programs are years behind schedule and billions of dollars over their initial cost estimates. We've made dozens of recommendations on how Coast Guard can better manage acquisition programs. In conclusion, the Coast Guard Specialized Forces units include a range of capabilities that are vital to the service's ability to fulfill its missions. However, the Coast Guard faces significant challenges that can hinder its maritime security operations. Addressing our recommendations in these areas will help to ensure the Coast Guard is effectively and efficiently using available resources to carry out these operations and support national interests. This completes my prepared statement, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have.